Hi there, Aquarius. Thank you for joining me for your weekly forecast for week commencing the 12th of September. If you cast your mind right back to the middle of May, that was when a really difficult, tricky angle started to emerge between your traditional ruler of Saturn and the dreamy influence of Neptune. I apologise if I'm repeating this again, but it has been that influential. Neptune's in that part of your scope that's to do with your values, often a very important thing to Aquarius people. Yeah, you like good things, nice things, like anyone else, but you're not always totally obsessed by the material world. But there may have been a certain uncertainty about how some of your attitudes have meshed in, certainly with friends and some of the people that you do encounter on an everyday basis, because Saturn's in the part of your scope to do with friendships and also to do with your life direction. If your financial picture has also become a little less rosy during this period of time, it wouldn't be entirely surprising. This week there is going to be a lunar eclipse, and if you cast your mind back to the 1st of September, there was a solar eclipse and they work in pairs. Now this lunar eclipse is going to be emphasising the same part of your scope as Neptune is located too. So it's about the money side of things in the here and now. It's about your values, how they affect you in the here and now. It's about your self-worth as well, very important factor. But unlike the angle to Saturn, which continues with Neptune, this particular lunar eclipse angles up to Mars, which is also in the same location that Saturn is in too, which is about friendship, about your future direction, about group activities. And angling back across the heavens, Mars is also squaring up to the Sun, which is in the sign of Virgo, which is about your longer term situation. And I just feel the next 6 months is going to be quite critical about how you move on from this 3 or 4 month period of a kind of fudginess, where things haven't been particularly clear and not necessarily flowed in terms of a sense of certainty. Now the great news in the first half of this week is the Sun combines brilliantly with Mercury. Yes, I know Mercury is twisting backwards, but this is a chance when they're so closely allied to really get beneath the surface of situations. You're a natural armchair psychologist, so use that talent to work out all your options. By the end of this week, it is true that you're going to have to be very clear-minded, and perhaps some of the options you'd like may not be feasible. That's just the reality of this difficult T-square on this lunar eclipse. But Mars still gives you a tremendous amount of independence and that ability to strike out when you feel that something feels right for you, the individual. You've got a lot more qualities in that regard than you may sometimes give yourself credit for. You don't necessarily need to fit in with peers in the way that some other zodiac signs do. So if you see that you need to pull away from certain situations or cloy in restraints or make some changes to your budgetary arrangements, Mars is going to give you a lot of drive and self-belief. Now also, Venus and Mars in the second half of this week start to forge an absolutely beautiful alliance. I think it's possible that you're going to have a conversation with someone who could really capture your imagination. Also, Venus goes opposite Uranus in the second half of this week, so there can be something unexpected about this. And with Uranus, your modern ruler, connecting brilliantly with Mars all through this week, that side of you that does like to be a bit dramatic, a bit unpredictable, you love a bit of shock and awe, even if it takes people aback a little bit, well, indulge in it. It can liven things up. And someone who really gets what an authentic character you are can actually think you're absolutely fab. So there are some practical considerations this week, financial ones too. There are some around your sense of self, but there is possibilities too to relate well to people and to connect to those people who are on your wavelength. So if there have been some casualties in recent months, there can be some new people who are wowed by your charm and charisma, and they could be entering your orbit in a big way in the months to come. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck, and goodbye for now.